and this comes obviously after the news of Christian Norgaard coming in, and I haven't spoke to you about this yet. I mean, listen, I saw Lee Judge's his rant yesterday.
We did a show earlier.
And I've seen you do a show downstairs as well. But when I think I'm gonna defend Arsenal's strategy on this.
No, so I defended it. Like me and him was going back and forth on it, because to me it's a very good signing.
But the way Lee reacted was like, that's the last signing you're going to make all summer.
Which is obviously not. And that's typical Lee, how he reacts.
Reactionary.
Right? But I'm saying to you that signing makes perfect sense. Listen, they wanted to keep Thomas Partey, right? But the sticking point on that has always been he wants a long-term deal. He's 32 now. We know he's been injury-prone throughout his career at Arsenal. He had a great season last year, don't get me wrong. He was excellent last season. But Arsenal wanted to give him like a year. He's on very high wages, over £200,000
If I was him, I'd still accept a year, you know.
Right?
I don't know why he's
but you say that, but when you get that age, you want a 2 plus 1.
You easily go Saudi after that and get the bag. Take the year.
Go Saudi.
No. The thing is, the Saudi guys now, right? I was over there the other day, and they were saying that, listen, they're moving away from that.
The older guys.
Just bringing the older guys. They're now looking at younger players. You can see that with some of the signs they're looking to make at the moment, like Theo Hernandez from AC Milan and that.
Duran.
They're going a bit younger now, right? Duran, right? So it's his last big contract. I know from people that are close to his thing that he wanted 2 years. Arsenal wants to give him 1 year. They probably wanted those wages to come down a bit as well. It's his last big deal. He's probably going to get an offer to get that amount of time and the same money elsewhere.
Where?
Well, there's even talk of Barcelona are interested in him, right? So he's going to go, right? So then Arsenal have had to move really quickly now for a replacement because I think they were looking at his player, Lucian Agomi, who plays for Sevilla. I think United are also interested in him as well, right? But he's young and he's green. Remember, they're bringing in Zubimendi. Zubimendi's going to be the main guy, right? So they need a backup. Christian Norgaard fits it perfectly. Sort of classic number 6. But what Lee's forgetting, he's not really coming in to replace Partey. He's coming in to replace Jorginho.
Exactly. And that's why I think it's a shrewd signing.
And that's why it's a very shrewd bit. He's a captain. He's another leader in the dressing room. He's a very, very experienced player in the Premier League. And they had to move quickly because Spurs were looking to sign him. Obviously, Thomas Frank's gone there now, who's his manager. That's why they've moved really quickly on this one.
I think I understand where both sides of Arsenal fans are coming from on this, because I agree. Right, when you take a step back and you look at it like just player for player, pound for pound, like you've lost Jorginho and you've lost Partey. You've replaced them with Zubimendi and Norgaard. Arsenal are going to go deep into competitions next year. You need to get better cup runs. You went from quarterfinals to semi-finals, Champions League. Make Arsenal not replace those bodies like Jorginho and Partey, and all of a sudden you ain't got no midfielders properly or this, that, and everyone goes, so you didn't sign a thing, you didn't. So Arsenal done right, and getting Kepa for £5 million, and that other Neto guy, get rid of him, and that's good business. But the problem is, it's because it's just not what Arsenal fans want to hear right now. The problem is
that's all it is.
So
that's all it is.
That business needs to be done. You're right. That's good business.
And the reason why they've had to do that now, as I said, is because Tottenham were going to move.
They're going to move in. Right, so you got to swoop, yeah.
So you got to swoop and do that.
So
but
I get
you
that.
are right, 100%.
You just don't want to hear it now. Where's Sesko? Where's Gyökeres?
Yes,
and like what Lee Judge was saying, he was saying we need to get over the line. Like get the man who we're going to get. Where's the bit? And because Arsenal didn't spend properly in summer. They didn't spend properly in January.
January's the one.
It feels a bit like, I could sympathise with some Arsenal fans where they're like, you're doing it again.
Yeah.
Are you really doing this to us again? Like, great. We don't want to hear about no Norgaard, 11 million. We don't want to hear about Zubimendi was here we go from 6 months. Don't hoodwink us. Where is the strike? Where's the thing? I'm seeing, if I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm going, look at City. Look, they're going to, listen, if we're not careful, we're going to be third. Look at Liverpool. The gap's going to get bigger. But in reality, if you be a bit calmer about it, like AGT said, it's still early in the window. If you add your Sesko into this and you've sorted out your midfield...
And the winger, though.
You have to be...
There's still more stuff, but it's because they haven't got it yet.
Why we need to be calm about this, right, is that... And I know... Listen, I'm an Arsenal fan and I
the clock's ticking.
fully understand it because I was so frustrated in January. It was ridiculous what we did, right? But why we got to be calm about it is that what were we just talking about before we even started talking about this, we were talking about all the problems in trying to sign a Gyökeres and people like that at this stage. So I do still believe that one of those signings will happen. What they should have done, I still think they should have, like, it's a very typical Arsenal. You see what you guys done with Cunha, right? You signed him and you put it out there that you signed him and announced it and think. But obviously the reality of it is he's not signing until the 1st of July, is he? You can't be officially... even though you've done the announcement that...
You can't be registered. You can't... You can't, his contract
but Arsenal, they know they've got Zubimendi. Yeah. They could have done the same thing and just announced it.
But that's your Partey replacement.
Yeah, but they ain't done nothing. They still just like, he's still just there. We know he's coming in, but they should have just put it out there right at the start of the window and said, right, we've made this, because they should know that the fans are going to be frustrated from January. And it's the Arsenal way. Everything's always under wraps.
Yeah, and that's where I can sympathise with the fans.
That is why that frustration comes in. Because it looks like you ain't got no ambition.
But actually, when you look at those two signings, them two players need replacing. Jorginho's the guy who comes in and out. That's Norgaard. Norgaard ain't going to start.
Norgaard's not starting. Norgaard's Jorginho.
Yeah, he's the Endo. He's the El
Neni. And he's actually very good, right? Because he's a guy that started every game for Brentford last season. He's their captain. Yeah. It's a very Jorginho-like signing. Jorginho is a real leader, so it makes perfect sense. Just like the Kepa one, when people were saying, "Oh, Kepa,
perfect signing."
5 million release clause. For a guy that started every game for Bournemouth last season, was one of their best players, had an excellent season. You're getting a keeper like that who knows the Premier League inside out as your backup. It makes perfect sense.
If you've done these deals the other way round,
exactly.
Like say it was Gyökeres through the door straight away, Arsenal fans would go,
there you go.
Damn right, you bet right.
Great
Now
business.
you go and get thing. But what I will say is though, the pressure that is building.
Nah, they're on a huge pressure.
You know, like everyone knows the money's there to be spent. It's Gyökeres or it's Sesko. You need to get your skates on, and the winger.
I said it on Invincible podcast, which could be coming out. Right,
there could be riots in the stadium.
Striker, right? Even when that's done, to me, I'm still looking at a left wing position. And personally, I want to see a Rodrigo or a Rafael. I want to see someone.
Garnacho's up for grabs.
I don't want no Garnacho.
What do you mean?
I don't want no.
Why? What do you mean?
You're wearing a Spurs shirt by the end of the season.
Garnacho, higher GA than Rodrigo, mate.
Listen, to me, Garnacho's like I'm just bringing in another Martinelli. Right? We got that already. I want a dial mover. I want someone going to be really. Arsenal need options. Like what Liverpool had last season, we didn't have that, right? And also, I want the same threat that we got on that right-hand side on the left, because everything's always going our right.